In the NFL, we expect the hits to be hard, the plays to be fast, and the game to be intense. But sometimes, it's not just the tackles that leave us in shock, it's the injuries. Not the usual broken bones or sprained ankles, but the strange, bizarre injuries that have made their way into NFL history. Injuries that make you scratch your head and ask, how did that even happen? From off-field accidents to jaw-dropping, in-game mishaps, some NFL injuries are just too strange to believe. Injuries that don't just change seasons, they change careers, legends, and even leave the fans in disbelief. Today, we're diving into the weirdest of them all. These are the top 10 strangest NFL injuries that shocked the league and left us wondering how the heck they happened in the first place. On today's episode of the Football Time Machine, we're stepping back into the bizarre moments that'll make you question what really happens behind the scenes in the NFL. Steve Young, one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. A Super Bowl champion, a two-time NFL MVP, and the heart of the San Francisco 49ers for years. Known for his incredible arm strength, lightning-fast decision-making, and his ability to escape pressure, Young was a dual threat, dominating both as a passer and a runner. He led the 49ers to victory in Super Bowl 29, earning the game's MVP with a performance that cemented his legacy. For over a decade, Steve Young was a consistent top-tier quarterback, filling the shoes of the legendary Joe Montana, and taking the franchise to new heights. But even with all his success, Young's career wasn't without its challenges. Despite his undeniable talent, one injury would ultimately lead to his premature retirement. And it wasn't just any injury, it was one that left many wondering how a player with so much potential could be taken down by something as unpredictable as this. It was January 1999, the NFC wild card game between the San Francisco 49ers and the Arizona Cardinals. Steve Young had already overcome so much in his career, but this would be the hit that would change everything. With the game on the line, Young dropped back to pass. As he released the ball, Aeneas Williams, the fierce cornerback for the Arizona Cardinals, stormed in from the blind side with a brutal, unrelenting force. Williams had a reputation for big plays, and this one was no exception. The impact was devastating. Aeneas Williams hit Young with a force that sent shockwaves through the entire stadium. The blow wasn't just physical, it was a blow to the future of one of the league's most promising quarterbacks. After the sack, Young was visibly dazed. He tried to play through it, but it was clear something was terribly wrong. The effects of the concussion were apparent. Though Young finished the game, that hit would be the beginning of the end for his career. Louis Murphy wasn't the biggest name in the NFL, but when he hit the field, he brought speed, agility, and playmaking ability. Whether it was burning defenders on deep routes or making clutch catches, Murphy had all the tools to be a solid wide receiver. Drafted by the Oakland Raiders in 2009, Murphy wasted no time making an impact. In his rookie season, he put up nearly 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, proving he was more than just a role player. But sometimes, the most bizarre injuries don't come from a big hit or a brutal tackle, they come out of nowhere. During a game in 2009, Murphy suffered a dislocated toe, but here's the crazy part, it wasn't from a hit, a fall, or even contact with another player. It happened just from running. That's right, one simple stride, and suddenly his toe was out of place. You expect injuries in football, but a dislocated toe from just running? Now that's a strange one. He was out for 3 weeks due to a dislocated toe. Despite the bizarre injury, Murphy went on to have a solid career, playing for multiple teams and always being a reliable target. But his toe injury? That's the kind of freak accident that lands you on a list like this. A dislocated toe just from running? That's the kind of injury that makes you shake your head. But at least it happened on the field during a game. But what if I told you that our next injury didn't happen during a game, practice, or even anything remotely football related? Punters don't usually make headlines for injuries, but in 2003, Jacksonville Jaguars punter Chris Hansen found himself on the injury report for one of the strangest reasons in NFL history, because of an axe. Yes, you heard that right, an actual axe. This wasn't a hit, a bad landing, or even a freak accident on the field. It happened right in the Jaguars' locker room during a team bonding exercise. Jaguars head coach Jack Del Rio had a team motto that season: keep chopping wood. To reinforce the message, the team placed a wooden log and an axe in the locker room as a symbol of perseverance. Players were encouraged to take swings at the log to keep chopping. But when it was Chris Hansen's turn, things took a bizarre turn. Instead of striking the log cleanly, Hansen accidentally swung the axe into his own leg. The injury was bad enough to require immediate medical attention, and just like that, the Jaguars punter was out with one of the most unnecessary injuries in NFL history. A punter missing time because of an axe mishap. You can't make this stuff up. It's the kind of injury that belongs in a video game cutscene, not the actual NFL injury report. Hansen eventually recovered, but this injury became legendary, not because of how severe it was, but because of how completely avoidable it should have been. Lesson learned: leave the chopping to the lumberjacks. During a 1999 game between the Cleveland Browns and the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Browns were lined up on offense when a routine penalty occurred. As the play ended, a referee threw his penalty flag with extra force, sending it flying toward the line of scrimmage. Orlando Brown, the massive 6'7", 350-pound offensive tackle, was standing nearby when the flag struck him directly in the right eye. Brown, known for his towering frame and sheer power on the field, immediately reacted in pain and frustration. Disoriented and unable to see, he shoved the referee, unaware of the full extent of his injury. The impact of the weighted flag, which contained ball bearings for added weight, caused significant eye trauma, leading to temporary blindness, swelling, and long-term vision issues. The injury forced him to miss 3 full seasons, and in response, the NFL banned weighted flags to prevent similar incidents in the future. Orlando Brown's injury was a freak accident, the kind of thing no one could have seen coming. But sometimes, the most bizarre injuries aren't just accidents, they happen because of players' own actions. And that brings us to number 6, where one quarterback's celebration turned into an instant regret. Gus Frerotte was never the flashiest quarterback, but he was a solid and dependable player with a strong arm and a tough mindset. Drafted in the 7th round of the 1994 NFL Draft by Washington, he quickly outplayed expectations, earning the starting job by his second season. At 6'3" and 225 pounds, he had the prototypical size for an NFL quarterback and wasn't afraid to take hits in the pocket. While he never became a superstar, Frerotte carved out a long career as a reliable journeyman, starting games for multiple teams over 15 seasons. But despite all the games he played, all the passes he threw, and all the defenses he faced, the moment he's most remembered for isn't a great touchdown pass, it's one of the strangest self-inflicted injuries in NFL history. During a 1997 game between the Washington Redskins and the New York Giants, quarterback Gus Frerotte had just scored on a crucial rushing touchdown. Overcome with excitement, he ran to the back of the end zone and celebrated in the most unusual way, by head-butting the padded wall behind the end zone. At 6'3" and 225 pounds, Frerotte was a tough quarterback known for his big arm, but no one expected him to injure himself on a routine celebration. The moment seemed harmless at first, but immediately after the headbutt, Frerotte started feeling dizzy and disoriented. He played one more series before realizing the pain was serious. He was later diagnosed with a sprained neck, forcing him out of the game and sending him to the hospital for evaluation. The injury became one of the most infamous self-inflicted wounds in NFL history. While Frerotte would go on to have a long career, his name would forever be tied to the bizarre moment where a celebration turned into a medical emergency. Kickers don't usually make highlight reels, but Bill Gramatica became famous for one of the strangest injuries in NFL history, not because of a hit, but again, because of a player's own celebration. During a game in December 2001, Gramatica, the Arizona Cardinals rookie kicker, lined up for a routine 42-yard field goal attempt. He nailed the kick, putting points on the board for his team. But instead of jogging off the field like most kickers, Gramatica jumped into the air in an over-the-top celebration. As he came down, disaster struck. He landed awkwardly, tearing his ACL in the process. The injury was so severe that he was ruled out for the rest of the season. At 5'8" and 170 pounds, Gramatica was never the biggest player on the field, but he had a powerful leg. Unfortunately, his career never fully recovered from the injury, and he became a cautionary tale of what happens when celebrations go horribly wrong. This moment remains one of the most infamous self-inflicted injuries in NFL history, proving that sometimes the biggest danger on the field isn't the opposing defense, it's yourself. Nate Burleson was always known for his athleticism and speed on the field. A standout wide receiver, Burleson was drafted by the Minnesota Vikings in 2003 and went on to play for the Seattle Seahawks and Detroit Lions, where he made a name for himself as a reliable and skilled pass catcher. Standing 6 feet tall and weighing 198 pounds, Burleson had a solid career with over 5,000 receiving yards and 39 touchdowns. But while Burleson's career was defined by his ability to make plays, it's one of the strangest injuries in NFL history that's still talked about today. In 2013, during his time with the Detroit Lions, Burleson was driving home after a game when he had a craving for some pizza. With a pizza box on the passenger seat, the box slid off and started to tip over, and Burleson, determined not to let his pizza hit the floor, reached over to catch it. In the process, he lost control of his car and crashed into a median. The result? Burleson broke his arm in the accident and was sidelined for several weeks.
For the Detroit Lions, this is a sad story. He got in a car accident yesterday, broke his arm in 2 places, while he was trying to save a pizza in the back of his car.
Oh, who hasn't been there? Could be out for the season.
Out for the season, yeah. Basically, he got 2 pizzas and stacked them on top of each other on his seat, and
he made a turn and the pizza was going like this. Who hasn't been there?
It's one of those bizarre moments that's hard to believe, but the irony is what made it even more memorable. A professional athlete injured in a car crash trying to save his pizza. Despite the setback, Burleson showed his resilience and came back to finish his career, eventually moving into broadcasting after retirement. But to this day, the pizza-related injury remains a funny yet unfortunate chapter in his career, reminding us all that sometimes, you have to let the pizza go. Jason Pierre-Paul, JPP, was an absolute force on the field. With his explosive speed, unmatched power, and relentless drive, he quickly became one of the most feared pass rushers in the NFL. From his early years with the New York Giants, where he helped lead the team to a Super Bowl victory, to his later years as a veteran leader, Pierre-Paul was known for his explosive ability to disrupt the game. His agility, strength, and knack for making game-changing plays made him a nightmare for opposing quarterbacks. Whether it was his sacks, forced fumbles, or ability to stop the run, JPP's presence was undeniable. His high-flying celebrations after a sack showed just how much passion he played with. But while his career seemed to be on a steady rise, everything changed in the blink of an eye.
Talk about fireworks on the ground. What's up, son?
New York Giants defensive end Jason Pierre-Paul posting on Facebook before he's injured by fireworks. Fire rescue officials say he did not call 911, but ended up in the hospital with an injured hand. NFL media insider Ian Rappaport is tweeting, the Giants pulled their $60 million long-term contract offer.
The injury to Jason Pierre-Paul not only changed the course of his career but also served as a reminder that sometimes, no matter how prepared you are, life can throw an unexpected curveball, something that can alter everything in an instant. But JPP's story isn't the only strange NFL injury to make headlines. From bizarre accidents to injuries caused by sheer misfortune, the NFL has seen its fair share of shocking moments. And number 2 on our list is one of the most unexpected incidents you'll ever hear about, involving a player who seemed to have it all, until a single, bizarre event changed everything. Plaxico Burress was once one of the NFL's top wide receivers, known for his incredible size, speed, and ability to make game-changing plays. Standing 6 feet 5 inches and weighing over 230 pounds, Burress had the perfect combination of power and finesse, which helped him carve out a reputation as a major threat for the New York Giants. His performance in Super Bowl 42, where he caught the game-winning touchdown, remains one of his most iconic moments in his career. But in 2008, everything changed for Burress. In a bizarre and unfortunate series of events, Burress found himself involved in an incident that would alter the course of his life and career forever. Late one night, Burress was at a Manhattan nightclub when a simple mistake changed everything.
Going to a nightclub, and I had my weapon with me, and it wasn't like I was trying to hide it, or I go into this place and go through the security. They know I have it. They pat me down and they say okay, and they let me in with it. The metal detector let me in, and I'm maybe there for like maybe 5 minutes, and it's getting so crowded. Everybody's coming over. Hey, how you doing? So the VIP is, hey, I'm gonna take you upstairs so you can relax. Nobody will bother you. And I'm walking up the stairs, and I miss a step, and so my gun slides down my pants. So it's getting ready to hit the ground. So I don't want to hit the ground. So when it's sliding down my jeans, I go to stop it from hitting the ground. And I don't think you could do it in a million times that through your pants you could try to stop it from hitting the ground, and my finger hit right on the trigger. It's like, what are the odds of that happening?
This incident, while shocking, is a stark reminder of how a single, bizarre mistake can turn a promising career upside down. And now, it's time to move to number 1 on our list, a moment that truly stands as the most unbelievable and impactful injury in NFL history. Stay tuned as we explore the strangest, most shocking injury ever to occur in the NFL. Brandon Marshall was one of the most dominant wide receivers in the NFL, known for his incredible hands, physicality, and ability to make plays all over the field. He amassed over 1,000 receiving yards in multiple seasons and became a fixture in the league. But Marshall's career wasn't just defined by his on-field performance. His life off the field would also make headlines for a shocking reason.
Now, on a story that we've been following on air and on WPTV.com since it broke earlier today, Miami Dolphins wide receiver Brandon Marshall ended up at the hospital after he was stabbed by his wife in their Broward County home. This is Michi Nogami Marshall. According to police, Nogami Marshall told investigators she had stabbed her husband out of self-defense. Now, this is her just this afternoon after she bonded out after her hearing. Now, initially, Brandon Marshall claimed he had slipped and fell onto a broken glass vase. Investigators determined that wasn't the case. The 27-year-old wideout was taken to Broward General and underwent surgery late last night for a stomach stab wound. Doctors said Marshall should be okay in 2 to 3 weeks and that no vital organs were damaged.
While he would go on to recover and continue his career, this moment remains one of the most bizarre and frightening off-field incidents in NFL history. Thankfully, Marshall did return to the field, but this incident is a stark reminder of how life outside the gridiron can change the course of a player's career. And that's it for today's list of the top 10 strangest NFL injuries. Some truly wild and bizarre moments in the world of football. I hope you enjoyed this deep dive into the unexpected side of the game. If you liked what you saw, make sure to hit that like button, share this video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on more football content like this. Drop a comment below with your thoughts or if we missed any crazy injuries you think should have made the list. Until next time, signing off from the Football Time Machine.